So, has he only got 5 games to save his job? Is this genuine? It appears the board are not prepared to take any action against Michael Beale during the international break. So it looks like Michael Beale will still be in place when Rangers face St Johnstone in the Scottish Premier League on the 16th of September in that lunchtime kickoff at McDiarmid Park. Pressure is definitely on Rangers to have a reaction to what has been a pretty disastrous week for them in the lead up to the international break. Michael Beale spoke, didn't he, about his targets for the international break were to be top of the Scottish Premier League, failed, and to be in the Champions League, failed, and to be in the quarterfinals of the Viaplay Cup. Well, at least we succeeded there, but we did beat a bunch of part-timers in Morton. So it appears that whilst the board are not at this stage saying that they're going to get rid of Beale, they're prepared to give him time. It does appear from reports on a number of sources, including insiders, that Beale will have 5 games to turn it around. The first 5 games after the international break. That the board want to see not only an upturn in form, but also an upturn in performances. And I think what they really need to see, and what I hope one of the things they've spelt out to Michael Beale is, we need to see a style. We need to see a vision. We need to see a set of tactics. We need to see a shape, and we need to see a formation and a team. We don't need to see what we've seen so far, where, quite frankly, the football has been boring. There's no tactics, there's no formation, there's no style, there's no vision. Their ability to pass the ball forwards quickly is just non-existent. The coherent passing is just non-existent, and the team look listless, they look lost, and they look clueless. So that's the board really do, I think, what need to put this across the Beale. In the next 5 games, we need to see a formation, a shape, a tactics, set of ideas, a style, and a real purpose to Rangers play. Without that, I don't think even the results matter. We need to see something, because realistically, you look at these next 5 games, and with the exception of a couple of them, they all should be easy wins for Rangers. I mean, let's look at these next 5 games that head coach. I was talking about head coach. Perhaps that's all he is really. Manager Michael Beale faces. So obviously, as we know, the first game is away at St Johnstone at McDiarmid Park. This will be a tough game. I mean, who remembers last season Rangers going to McDiarmid Park and losing? Probably the game that signalled the end of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's reign. That defeat, I think it was 2-1, if my memory serves me correctly. Really does show that his time had finished. His position was untenable, and it was time for him to go. Maybe a defeat this time will also perhaps do the same for Beale. Who knows? History may repeat itself. Then, obviously, Rangers face their first Europa League game, a home game against probably the toughest team in the group in Real Betis. Betis currently sits 7th in La Liga. They, in sort of a pretty decent position. They're a decent team. They've got some fine players. They're a good side, a well-organised side. Manuel Pellegrini, the former Manchester City and Chile manager, is their head coach. They are a team that definitely is moving in the right direction. So it will be a very, very tough game against a very technically good Real Betis team from Seville on that Thursday night. Rangers then followed up with a home game against Motherwell, who've started the season exceptionally well. Again, it'll be a tough test, but it's a game that Rangers should be winning. They then face a game against Livingston, again at home at Ibrox in the quarterfinals of the Viaplay Cup. Again, with no respect to Davy Martindale and his team, this is a game that Rangers should win. I mean, the Viaplay Cup has to be delivered. I mean, it's an absolute minimum. If the League Cup is not delivered, it would be a disaster at this point, given the fact that Celtic are out. Now, that may seem arrogant, it may seem complacent and disrespectful to teams like Hearts and Hibs and to Kilmarnock and to Aberdeen, but Rangers should be beating these teams quite easily. They finished the 5 games that could determine Beale's future with a home game against Aberdeen. Always one that Aberdeen try extra hard. And as we all know, that Aberdeen, the game against Rangers is their Champions League final. It is their World Club Cup final. It is their be-all and end-all. And the effort that Aberdeen put in against Rangers is always 10 times what they show against Celtic. So 5 games to save himself. And realistically, for Michael Beale, it has to be 5 victories. 4 victories and a defeat, not acceptable. 4 games and a draw, not acceptable. 3 games, 3 wins and a draw, and 2 draws, not acceptable. Has to be 5 wins. Anything else is just plain unacceptable. But not only does it have to be 5 wins, it has to be also 5 performances. 5 games where we can see a progression, where we can see a vision, where we can see a set of tactics, where we can see a formation observing, and also we can see that Michael Beale is starting to really show that he has a team in mind, a best 11 in mind. You know, he's changed his team. I think it's 9 times out of 10 so far this season. He is, you know, he has been all over the place with his team selections. You know, so we really do need to see a best 11, really, probably, you know, more so in the league, I suppose, than anywhere else, emerging. What is the strongest 11? What does that strongest 11 look like? You know, who are the best 11 players that we have at the club? You know, I'm sure we've all got our thoughts, our ideas on that. And look, it divides the fan base. Of course it does. You know, for me, strikers, I'd be picking Danilo and Roof. I think Danilo needs to be given an opportunity. He needs to be given the chance to actually play football, because how else are we going to see whether this guy is really worth the money? You know, for me, Cyril Dessers is not up to the job. Yes, he works hard, but he's not a goal scorer. And I defy anyone to tell me that he is a goal scorer. He's never been a great goal scorer. He is more a foil for someone to play off. But by that, you know, by that stretch, you then look at it and make a value judgment against Danilo and Roof. Is he better than Danilo and Roof? No, he's not. So realistically, you go with your best 2 players, who are, in theory, Danilo and Roof. Danilo has not had the opportunity yet to really prove himself. I think he started, 2 games, one against Servette, and I think the other one was against Livy, maybe. But that's it. You know, we need to give him the opportunity to actually start and to show us what he has got and whether he is this talent that we paid the money for. And quite frankly, playing him behind Cyril Dessers, who has been a serial failure, is not the way forward. So 5 games to save his job. Is that the case, guys? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you need to see in these 5 games for Michael Beale to restore faith in his management, to restore faith in the team, and restore faith in the fact that we are moving in the right direction? We've got to chase them down. We've got to catch back up with them, which again is not an Ardell situation, but it's the situation we again find ourselves in after 2 very inept performances. Like I said, always please, guys, hit that sub, ring that notification bell. And if you can give the video a like, guys, that's the first thing I always need you to do. The second thing, remember, we are the people.